In this lesson, Josh and Arabindo explored how the beanstalk grew between day 0 and day 1. They found the height of the beanstalk at day 1/2, day 1/4, and day 1/3. Now, they will use what they learned about how the beanstalk grows over a part of a day to reflect on the relationships between the heights on day 73, 73.5, and 74.
What happened to the height between day 73 and day 73.5? But maybe do 73, 73.5, and 74 so I can see all of those. Okay, can you show me the relationships between the heights?
Okay. Let me do one for this one.
So what is that times?
3.
Okay, so why is this times the square root of 3? Josh, can you tell me why that's times the square root of 3?
Cause you're taking this, like, this times this is supposed to equal that.
And how do we know that that top thing is supposed to be times 3?
Because square root of 3 times square root of 3 is 3.
What Josh and Arabindo are referencing here is the idea that the square root of 3 is the number that, when multiplied by itself, will give you 3. So, multiplying the square root of 3 by the square root of 3 will give them an answer of 3.
So if we were starting with this fact, how would we know that between day 73 and 73.5 it increased by a factor of square root of 3?
So we're starting with the fact that between every day, the growth factor is 3. Because we were given that.
Okay.
And then we had half of a day, and we got square root of 3. And you can check that because the opposite of doing a square root is squaring. So if you square the square root of 3, you get 3. But we're talking about the relationship. And that relationship carries on forever in the timeline.
What relationship carries on forever in the timeline?
This multiplicative relationship, any of them. That's between the same day.
One more time.
So if we have a relationship between 73 and 75, they're 2 days apart. And that relationship, that multiplicative relationship, is the same for 0 and 2, 3 and 5, and for anything.
Okay.
That is 2 days apart.
Okay.
And that works for anything.
Okay.
So we had between 0 and 0.5, we had times square root of 3. And here we also have a distance of 0.5. And so we have the same multiplicative relationship.
Between what and what? The same multiplicative relationship where and where?
Between the height on day 73 and day 73.5.
Well, that's one multiplicative relationship, right? So what is it the same as?
It's the same as the height on day 0 and day 0.5.
Between day 0 and day 0.5. It should... How are they the same? Because they don't increase by the same amount, right?
No, they don't increase by the same amount. That's what Jack was thinking about.
Okay.
They multiply by the same amount.
Okay.
In this lesson, Josh and Arabindo explored the height of their beanstalk at several times between day 0 and day 1. They did this using their formula, 1 times 3 to the x equals y, in which the starting height was 1, the growth rate was 3, and the number of days was x, regardless of whether or not x was an integer. Josh and Arabindo also argued that the multiplicative relationships between the beanstalk heights are the same so long as the amount of time that has passed is the same. For example, for any 2-day period, the height of the beanstalk will always increase by a factor of 9, and for any 1/2 day period, the beanstalk height will increase by a factor of 3 to the 1/2, or the square root of 3. The growth factor for beanstalk height will be the same over the same number of days, regardless of upon which day you start. In the next episode, the students will explore the height of the beanstalk at other times between days.